All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're talking about a crisis that's unfolding, often silently, but it's a huge threat to our food supply and economies all over the world. It's called African swine fever. It's a truly devastating disease, but there's a new frontline defense, a huge shift in technology that's finally giving us a real fighting chance. So, let me start by asking you a question. What do you think is the single biggest, deadliest threat on any given pig farm? I'm willing to bet it's not what you think, and the answer is really the key to our whole story today. Well, the answer to that question is a virus, and it's one that has become the entire pork industry's absolute worst nightmare. And here it is. This is the reality of African swine fever, or ASF for short. It is a virus so brutal it can literally wipe out an entire farm almost overnight. And here's the kicker, the part you have to remember. There is no cure, and right now, no effective vaccine. And when I say devastating, I am not kidding. ASF is incredibly contagious, and once it gets a foothold in a herd, the mortality rate is pretty much 100%. For anyone raising pigs, it is just a brutal, fast-moving enemy. So what makes this virus so tough? Well, it is just incredibly resilient. I mean, get this. It can survive for more than 100 days in refrigerated meat. It can hang around for weeks in the environment. And of course, it spreads like wildfire through direct contact. This isn't just some biological problem, it's a complete and total logistical nightmare. And that logistical nightmare? Well, as you can imagine, it comes with a shocking price tag. Let's talk about the economic damage. $130 billion. Just let that sink in. That's the estimated loss every single year around the globe from this one disease. It completely upends supply chains. It makes pork prices skyrocket, and it genuinely threatens the food security of millions of people. And take a look at this map. It really shows you this scale we're talking about here. This isn't just a problem in one or two places. The orange areas show that ASF is now basically a permanent resident across huge parts of Asia, Europe, and Africa. It's a constant threat, and it's knocking on the door of regions that are still virus-free. It's a true global crisis. So you've got this massive, multi-billion-dollar threat that's spreading all over the world, and you have no vaccine to stop it. The fight against ASF isn't just important, it's become a desperate race against time. You know, this quote from the World Organization for Animal Health just says it all, doesn't it? If you can't cure it, you have to get ahead of it. The only lifeline, the only defense you have, is to find that virus the second it shows up and stop it dead in its tracks. Speed is absolutely everything. So how in the world do you find an invisible enemy that fast? Well, the gold standard, the best tool in the box, is a method you've probably heard of, PCR. And it's the best for two really simple reasons. First, it is extremely sensitive. It can find the virus just 2 days after an animal is infected, way before it even looks sick. And second, it is absolutely specific. It's not going to get confused with other diseases, so you know without a doubt what you're dealing with. And this chart really lays it all out. If you just look at the columns, waiting to see symptoms means you're already way too late. A rapid antigen test is okay, but it can miss those really early infections. But then look at the PCR column. You catch it super early, the sensitivity is off the charts, and the accuracy is the gold standard. There's really no contest. It's the best tool we have. But there's a catch. Having the best tool in the world doesn't help you one bit if it's stuck in the wrong place. And that problem is what's sparking a revolution in how we actually use this incredible technology. So here's the core of the problem. Traditional PCR needs a special lab, highly trained technicians, and most importantly, time. You have to take a sample, ship it off, and then you wait, sometimes for days. And in a race against a virus this fast, days feel like an eternity. You just don't have them. So what's the solution? Well, it's simple in concept. You have to break PCR out of the lab. You have to take all of that gold standard power and put it directly into the hands of the people who need it most, right there on the front lines, right on the farms. And this is exactly where a system like POCKIT Central completely changes the game. And this is why it's such a breakthrough. Let me just walk you through it. First, it's fully automated, no complex manual lab work. Second, you don't need a PhD to run it. It's designed for the farm staff on the ground. Third, you're getting that same superior lab-grade accuracy, but you're getting it on site. And finally, the results couldn't be clearer. A simple plus or minus. All the guesswork is gone. It takes the power of a high-tech lab and packs it into a simple, fast box that anyone can use. So what this really means, it's more than just a new tool. It's a fundamental shift in strategy. It allows farms to finally move from just reacting to a disaster to actively getting out ahead and preventing it from ever happening. And this right here is that huge shift in thinking. Instead of waiting for an outbreak and then facing the horrible, costly process of culling animals, that's the old reactive way. You can finally get ahead of the virus. This is what we call proactive precision biosecurity. It's about building a fortress to stop the disease before it can ever get inside. And just think about what that means in the real world. This isn't just theory. It means you can test a new animal, a delivery truck, even a batch of feed before it ever sets foot on your property. You get those gold standard results in hours, not days. That lets you make an immediate call that could save your entire operation. It saves time, it saves a ton of money, and ultimately, it saves farms by putting control right back where it belongs, in the farmer's hands. So it all comes back to that race against time. The fight against African swine fever is won or lost based on speed. And the question this new technology leaves us with is a really simple one. When you're facing a threat that moves this fast, is your biosecurity strategy finally fast enough to win?